everyone, and welcome to Bacon. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know that this is going to be more of a normal sized, anywhere between 15 to 25 minute type episode, because unfortunately I do have some stuff I want to do today, but I did want to go ahead and continue with Rumpel's route, which is what we're doing right now. Chapter 7. Muddled Truths. And you, my little sunflower, are just as radiant as always. Oh my, Rumpel. It's like that whole thing with Bria never happened. He is back to flattering every woman he meets. Overthinking again, princess? I turn to see Karma grinning at me from where he sits at a table. Surprisingly, he is sitting with Durian and Garland today, who are arguing about some kind of knight's stance. Of course they are. It is none of your business. No, it's not, but you have such a sad look on your face, I had to ask. I'd appreciate you not staring at my face. I don't need to stare to see that you're in distress. I turn on my heels and begin to walk away irritated. I kind of feel like, she has every right to be irritated, fine. And with the way that she is in this route, she would be kind of a little nastier. That's the thing. I feel like she's becoming a nastier character in this route versus somebody who's becoming better. And it's because she's annoyed at Karma for being mean to Rumpel, and Rumpel wasn't doing anything wrong. Even though he was, and Karma is just, honestly, Karma's just being a good person to me. Like, there's some ways in which I feel like he should have approached things a little differently, but I don't see him as having actually done anything terribly wrong, other than a mild attitude issue. Which is nothing in comparison to how Lucette is acting this route and how Rumpel behaves. So I kind of feel like she's being unfairly mean and kind of rude. Even when I am among other people, it is impossible to forget the conversation I had with Parfait and Delora. It hovers at the back of my mind constantly. Oh yeah, didn't they just have the conversation about her being a witch? That could at least explain some of her bad attitude, but how much you want to bet she's going to be normal and nice with Rumpel? I feel like she's just taking her anger out on people at this point. And by chapter 7, she's usually getting to a point where she feels like she can start accepting people, but she's also really confused depending on when she was told she was a witch. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because, again, at this point I don't really like this route. We have not spoken again since then, yet even now I am still taking in what they told me before. My mother, the Cinderella bearer, and me, a witch. The reason others have always feared me is because of my blood. I suppress a sigh as I attempt to return to my work. As the days go by, I notice myself becoming more and more agitated. Half of it is the recent history lesson, and the other half is Rumpel's flirting with other women. Yeah, she's finally getting to that point where she's at that point where she realizes that she has feelings for Rumpel, and she's feeling like, how genuine can his feelings be if he's constantly flirting with other women? Because, he wasn't flirting with other women when he thought he was with Bria, right? How can he just snap his fingers and get over Bria so quickly? And then there's a little bit of that too. If he flatters every woman, does that mean he does not really mean the things he says to me? It's hard to take anything anyone says, woman, male, non-binary, if they tell you they like you and then they go flirt with every last person they know. Like, how genuine are your feelings then if you're also trying to hit on everyone else? So I understand that. I gather the plates off the counter, put them on a tray, and take them to the customers. Today, everything feels mechanical. For the last few days, I have been noticing that I walk more stiffly, and that if I walk too quickly, my vision blurs. Probably because of my overthinking. I stumble as I bring a tray to a familiar customer. The man looks up at me and asks if I am okay, and I murmur that I am before walking off. The blurriness comes back. What is wrong with me? I look over at Rumpel, who is at a table with two girls because his shift is over. Rather than boil over on the inside, I feel myself getting warmer on the inside. My skin feels clammy. Uh-oh, she's sick. I have to force myself to take a breath as I get the next round of orders. My last order for the day is for one of the girls at Rumpel's table. I don't want to go over there. I start carrying the tray toward the table, biting down on my lip as the sway comes back into my step. As I draw closer, I notice Rumpel and the girls laughing about something. I grit my teeth and pause in front of them to lay down the tray. This isn't mine, it's my friend's. Yes, I was the one who ordered the soup. The two stare at me. Instead of handing the soup off, they wait for me to move the bowl. But before I can reach over and move it, Rumpel slides it over to the other girl himself. For a few moments, there is a fragment of a scowl on his face. How are you doing today, my sweet princess? When I think about speaking, the words catch feebly in my throat. I turn to walk off. Princess? Still as cold as ice. The title Ice Princess definitely suits her. How can you dote on her, Rumpel? Despite the numbness of my mind, I still feel angry. I turn around so quickly that I make myself stumble. I feel myself teetering on the edge of falling, but something stops me. Warm hands reach out to grab mine before I can fall. Through my dizziness, I can see Rumpel standing in front of me. Princess, look at me. He puts a hand under my chin and angles my head so I can see him better. The expression on his face is suddenly serious. Is she gonna have like a serious illness where he has to go seek out the witch doctor? Or the healing witch, rather, not the witch doctor? That's a completely different thing. He looks at me for a few moments before he places a hand on my forehead. Princess, you have a fever. A really high fever, actually. You should go back to your room and rest. I'll drop by with some medication in a few minutes after I say goodbye to these ladies. Because that's more important, right, Rumpel? I am fine. My voice comes out hoarse. Trying to clear my throat only makes me feel more miserable. Princess, you're not fine. You look like you're about to collapse. I will not collapse. I am stronger than that. Mother taught me how to be strong. Mother. My thoughts become scrambled. Once again, my mind wanders, but this time I cannot keep myself steady as I try to walk away. Putting one foot in front of the other proves to be difficult, and I once again feel myself start to stumble. Then I feel warmth, this time arms around... Then I feel warmth, this time arms instead of hands. Sweet little princess, what am I going to do with you? That could almost be cute! Before I can understand what is happening, I'm lifted off my feet. I feel an arm supporting my back and another supporting me beneath the crook of my knees. Warmth. Such nice warmth. You really are stubborn, aren't you, Princess Lucette? I guess I'll just have to carry you up myself. Okay, so we all know I would struggle. I kind of feel like the game wants you to go ahead and like him, though. This one's hard. I also kind of feel like she would struggle just because, you know, she doesn't want to get help. But she's also like, blessed warmth. I'm gonna go with the first option. I cannot just let him carry me up like this. I attempt to move away from him, but my whole body is weak. It is all I can do to try to roll out of his arms, but even that does not work. If you fall, you'll get a bump in your head, you know. Oh, look at it. He's got the annoyed face on him now. I am not weak. I do not need anyone taking care of me. There are voices and indistinct chattering behind him that belongs to the girls. Rumpel speaks in a low voice. Stubborn she may be, but my sweet princess is stronger than any woman I've ever known. He pulls me closer to him and I feel his chest at my head, then his heartbeat. I know you're strong, princess, stronger than anyone else even, but because you're so strong, I know you'll never admit to needing help. It was the right choice! Yeah! That's why I'm going to help you without your permission. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the one time I'm alright with this kind of thing because it's appropriate. And honestly, I've had friends who refused help, but they were like, they had a bad fever, they were about to fall over, and I've had to literally carry them to the car and then from the car into their house. Like, I've had to do that before. So, I actually think this is very, very sweet. And very, very necessary. Slowly, I let myself settle in his arms. I lean my head against his chest and Slowly, I let myself settle in his arms. I lean my head into his chest and listen to his heartbeat. It is a gentle, sweet sound that makes me feel like I'm drifting into slumber. So warm. But not as warm as you are right now, princess. His voice slowly begins to fade out as I close my eyes. For the time being, I stop caring about everything else around me. I forget about Mother, about my talk with the Lauren Parfait, about the crystal, the Marchen, and I focus on Rumpel. This could have been so perfect and sweet. It really could have, and I just can't help but think about all of his past behavior. But this is what I mean by he had a lot of potential. This whole route had so much potential. Is it so selfish to want to be the only person held like this by him, even when he was engaged to someone before? Slumber slowly reaches up to claim me, darkness intermingling with warmth. In that last moment, I think I see Rumpel smile at me. it's a memory. Mother, Mother, I have to tell you about the fairy tale that the children read to me today. Lucette, what did I tell you about the fairy tales? But there was a princess just like me. She found her Prince Charming and... Fairy tales are not real. But they make really good stories, Mother. They are false stories. Do you really think it would be so easy to live happily ever after? No, but... Fairy tales make things black and white. Real life is full of grays. Black and white? Good and evil. No one is totally evil and no one is totally good. Even princes are not completely just. I agree with her mom on that one. So princes and princesses can be bad? Lucette, everyone has darkness to them. The princes that throw themselves into danger are not selfless. They seek wealth, fame, or power. You see, fairy tales are lies because no one is so selfless and so full of love. People are two-faced. Trust no one. Yes, Mother. No one will love you like I do. To find pure love like that is impossible. I slowly blink my eyes open. For a few moments, the room is blurry and there is nothing but vivid colors before my eyes. My eyes feel heavy, my throat scratchy. I stifle a cough as I blink back tears, and then through my tears I notice a slight motion. Rumpel? Rumpel is slumped in a chair in front of my bed, his head lolled to the side, his eyes closed. He murmurs something in his sleep and then shifts. What's he doing here? I notice a notebook on his lap. And what is that journal? I slowly slide my hand out from underneath the covers and reach across the bed. Whereas my fingers are about to brush the cover, Rumpel's hand suddenly falls on mine. Looks like you're feeling better. He pulls his hand away along with the book before carefully setting my hand back down on the covers. At least you look better. But how do you feel? Better. Rumpel looks tired, but his smile is still there. Oh, I won't believe it until I see it. You just said I looked better. That's my own analysis, but you, my sweet princess, don't sound very convinced. My throat is still a little sore, and I think if I stood up, I would fall over. Why do you look so surprised? You would usually never admit to such a thing, would you? You're still most definitely sick. Rumpel leans forward to put a hand on my forehead. His hand is cool on my hot skin. Our eyes lock as he tests my temperature. After a few moments, he finally peels his eyes away from me and sits back in his chair. Your temperature is down, but you definitely need the rest, princess. You should go back to sleep. And what? Will you just sit there and watch me? The words come out curter than I mean them to, and for a few moments Rumpel looks surprised, then he laughs. Princess, I haven't just been staring at you, I've been writing in my journal too. You have such a scary look on your face. Not that it isn't enticing, but I think your smiles are much better. Ugh. I sigh as I close my eyes for a few moments. I fight to put my scrambled thoughts together, but one thought in particular keeps resurfacing. For some reason, I cannot help but remember the snide women standing by Rumpel's side, jeering at me earlier. I open my eyes and look at Rumpel. Those women from earlier. Oh, right. I apologize for the impoliteness. The things they said to you were uncalled for, and I told them that. You flirt with women like that all the time. But why? They're not even good people. Not good people, but... Oh, well, I suppose they act differently when you're there. Princess Lucette, you're blind to their jealousy, aren't you? They are jealous of me? Why? My mind turns over what they could possibly be jealous about as my eyes fall on Rumpel. I remember the way he defended me to the women. Is it because you're my partner? It's a lot more than that. It's your grace, the noble way you carry yourself. They would never think I have those qualities. But where else would their jealousy stem from? And her being a princess, having money, an easier life, they think. They're just jealous that I take your attention away from them. Princess, I think even if they were nice people, I do not see how you can flirt with them when you were just recently in love with someone. Normally I would stop talking, but the words continue tumbling out of me. I do not understand how someone like you, who had a fiancé, could still be flirting with girls. How can you love someone if all you do is flirt with other girls? Flattery is one thing, but you cannot just flatter every girl. Why are you still smiling at me? I may not remember a lot of things, Princess, but I know for certain that whatever feelings I had for Bria vanished a long time ago. The good ones, at least. Rumpel. Words break apart as I start coughing. Don't rile yourself up like this. Please rest. I slowly lean back into my pillows with my eyes half closed. Why do we even care about what Rumpel does? Why does it bother me that he flirts with other girls? That is his business. Rumpel pulls the covers closer to my chin and smiles. Just because I flatter other women, that doesn't mean that I can't love someone. You always say some woman has stolen your heart, but your heart cannot belong to everyone. Yeah, you told me you always speak the truth. Yeah, and then there was the whole, thing with Karma when you first met him and you were instantly in love and ready to spend the rest of your life with him until you found out he was a man. And that just seemed extremely disingenuous as well. And I'm starting to realize it's because they think they're funny. The creators think that what they're doing is funny rather than just creating a really bad character. Oh, it's just a fictional character. Who cares? Characters make a huge part of the story because without characters, typically, you don't have a freaking story. If there isn't something to focus on, I mean, you could probably make a whole story about just scenery without any characters if you wanted to, I suppose. But if there's characters in your story, the characters make up a huge part of it and can decide for the readers if it's a good story or not. It doesn't matter how good the plot is. It doesn't matter how good your description is. If the characters suck, the story sucks. Maybe that in itself is a little white lie. Just some harmless dramatics. Harmless, you say? You know what? You guys know how I feel about that. You can tell. I know you know enough about me at this point to know how I would feel about that statement. But most girls know that I'm being dramatic, princess. No, they don't. They don't take my words so seriously. Yes, they do. Even if I do mean my compliments. He stares at me for a few moments, thoughtful. You just assume they're not going to, or that they don't. Or that they understand it's just you being dramatic. You assume these things. Does it bother you so much that I compliment other girls? Of course not. Though it will be difficult to hold my tongue, I will do it for you, princess, so don't worry. Why would you do something like that for me? My eyes are suddenly so heavy I have no choice but to close them as I let out a deep sigh. My head is beginning to hurt again. Behind my closed eyelids, I can hear a soft shuffle as Rumpel moves in his chair. Right before I fall back into darkness of sleep, I feel something warm and soft on my forehead. Rumpel? A goodnight kiss. His words are quiet and I can only just barely make them out. I cannot think of them, because the pull of sleep is much too tempting. Much too tempting. I can read. Sometimes. Some days. Okay. Since we hit the halfway mark, I'm going to go ahead and end things there. I did mention today was going to be a little bit short. Tomorrow's will be longer. I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of the chapter tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been Cinderella Phenomenon, Rumpel's Route. We're in Chapter 7. We're about halfway through. I'm going to finish the other half tomorrow, and I might go ahead and get into Chapter 8 as well, depending on how long the rest of this chapter is. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, all that lovely stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.